Hi, my name is Cheryl. I'm Sea Spirit Tarot. I'm pretty new on the scene. Throat chakra, sacral chakra. Part of why I'm here. And I decided I enjoyed Natalia's video about the 7 Council Tarot. I want to say this is my first time of actually doing a face-to-face. I begin my tarot and I usually stumble on it and I only show my hands. So this is good for me. Natalia, thank you very much. So I want to say that after 20 years away from the tarot and coming back, well, they were never gone. They just weren't up front because I had a lot of other victimhood, isolation, desolation to go through. That one of the best things I found, and my main advisor, is the J.J. Swiss Marseille deck. I have since read Jodorowsky's book. Well, I haven't read it. It's massive, but I read a lot of it. And when I came back to tarot, one of the people I found online was Vincent Patisi, who's been reading since he was like 16 years old. And anyway, he said, if you can read with this deck, you can read with any of them. And that's where some of my problems were earlier. I didn't have my numerology. Also, divine timing. You know, when it's right, it's right. So I want to say that I am now a major Marseille deck lover. If I buy another deck, I don't know. I can't even imagine getting another deck of Marseille. Though I see them and they're so pretty, and especially I saw Kasia had one that's like a new order one or something. But anyway, my main advisor, my Merlin, when I need to know what's going on, what are we doing, what should I do, this is the deck I go to. This is the head of the council. I don't know if J.J. Swiss was male or female. I presume he was male. But I also am kind of prejudiced, and I tend to buy decks by women. But I have some of each. So anyway, that is the main advisor, it's my Ace of Cups, okay? Another deck, I meant to bring a couple of the books up here, but Dion Fortune, Dion Fortune was she a psychoanalyst? And she was in the early 1900s, and she has a plethora of books. I mean, she's got the Kabbalah books, the self-defense books. She's also got some fiction books that are about the goddesses. Anything of Dion Fortune. So, and anyway, so that's with that. So I had bought this deck a few years ago, even though I wasn't really doing tarot so much. And this is a Dion Fortune deck. But Dion Fortune is dead, right? So they're going to be all. But this is carrying on with her school. She was with Aleister Crowley, and then they split. They were both Golden Dawn, and then she formed her own school and her own patterns, beliefs. So actually these cards came through her. They say Dion Fortune on the box. That's about what came from her organization. She is a most absolutely amazing woman if you've never read her. Anyway, this seems to be just a combination of collage, of Marseille, of every now and then there's a Rider-Waite in there. Oh, and that's the other thing. I'm not a Rider-Waite fan. I was a psych nurse for years, and I know we need to look at the dark side, and I know it exists, but there's so much more. I'm a Pisces. It's too harsh for me, I guess. Or I want more freedom. Anyway, this is the Star. Some of these knock you, that's what I said, these are the ones that knock me in the face. So this would be my deck of Isis. Isis is going to tell me the truth of what is going on. These cards are not all pretty. I've just blacked my first 2 Oracle decks. I would love to trim these cards because I don't like it. See, I'm not even adept at doing this. I love this. Look, that's Hather. Hather in the water between the columns. Gorgeous. But many of them have meanings on the bottom. And these I would like to trim. But I don't have the equipment to trim them. And I'm not going to tear these up with scissors. So J.J. Smith's my main advisor. Merlin made me tell me where I should go, what I should do, my strategy. But Dean Fortune, that's the backs, is going to be the one that tells me there are no gray areas, okay? Okay, sister, just get it. See, the third one I got when I had a dream, or I was asleep or something, and it was, if they just had a tarot deck that was like Tim Burton. And then the next day I got on and I watched so many deck reviews because I am so overwhelmed. Actually, I'm going to show you every single tarot deck I have. And the reason is that they're here for a reason. I think I don't get along with them, but then I find that I do. So I ended up buying the Dark Mansion Tarot, which I know everyone has seen around. And there's your wish card, your 9 of Cups. I'm terrible at doing this, but it all gets better. You go look at my very first videos, they were much worse. This is my fun deck. I love this card. Look, oh no, that's Death, yes. I love Death too, in here. In Judgment, there's a jazz band in the back playing. The queens are pretty. The sun is basic. The justice is harsh. But I just love the people. I just love it. I love the colors. Let's see if I can find some. I love that this is though this is much based on Rider-Waite, it is also, there's some of them have a whole different thing, like is it the 5 of Wands? I'm not very prepared. Instead of having them fighting, it has them not fighting, okay? And another thing that's so important in this era we're going through is these bones. You know, this is the 10 of Swords. These are the burdens we're going to look at. There's a full moon to let it go at. But we're down to our bones. And our blood's made in our bones. And our DNA is in the bones. So this is my inner child deck. This deck reminds me to breathe. It's just a fun deck. And I could put so many connotations. Say things would be so improper about it sometimes. But just kind of tells it like it is. And this is a deck out of Poland. I bought this because I thought if I start a channel, you know, I should have something new and modern. I bought the Swiss deck later. Here's an old deck. This deck has been on the tailgate at the laundromat in Wisdom, Montana, where like not even 200 people live out in the middle of nowhere. I spent a lot of time out west. Anyway, the dragons. This is an old, I think it's Terry Donaldson. He writes, the book's worthless. I'll tell you about the book part, but his books I can't get into, but the dragons came in to clear things out for us. And it's important that we look at our dragons. I thought I was prepared. I'm so ill prepared. Anyway, I enjoy bringing in the dragons. I often bring them in to clarify other cards. And though they follow Rider-Waite, they don't exactly follow Rider-Waite. So this is my council of clarifiers. Maybe my legal committee. I don't know. Another deck that I got out of whim online, And I don't think it's really a full tarot deck. I haven't looked lately. But it's First Light Tarot. But the thing about this is, it is the Hubble photographs that have been taken. And so, oops, glare. What I do with it is I just use the Major Arcana. And it's got some keywords, and they're okay. And you can expand on it. So I kind of use them as an oracle, but they are tarot. I mean, and every time you look at these issues, you remember where you came from. Well, not exactly, but you are a star. You are these minerals and these gases. Here's the moon. But some of them are just, look at the devil. They're just phenomenal. And you really realize how much frequency you really are operating at. And I'm very clumsy. I'm not going to apologize because I'm learning and I want to be a part of this community. I am starved for conversation of any level where I am. So the next one would be a deck I bought and I put away, because when I began doing this, I started this during the Stargate in Leo, and I've just been piling them on. But anyway, that I'm getting off with that. So where I want to go now is this Marielle deck. Now, I enjoy the book very, very, very much because I love learning different myths. But also, after spending 35 years in the Rockies, living with mostly the Native Americans, worked on the Hopi Navajo. This reminds me of the Four of the Desk. I had to go back. I had to go there. I had to go there from Houston, Texas. I don't know. But I love these cards. And I love it that the wolf is one of my animal medicines. Sorry about that. From the East of Wisdom. I am a Queen of Swords. I have been single forever. Desolate. But anyway, I am creative, and the Raven. One of the things I really miss from out west are the ravens and the magpies. And the Magician, Thoth, Hermes. I was an RN for many years. Psych was my gig, but I had to do a lot of the other stuff. Found not much integrity in any of it. But, Metatron, Melchizedek, Thoth, those are my guys. Those are the guys I look at. Divine men, even though they are ascended masters. That's the kind of guy I want, okay? So, anyway, I've only begun working with this deck. Everybody's showing this deck, so you probably don't need to see it so very much. So I'm basically working with this deck personally on my dresser in my bedroom. But it's a beautiful deck. And as much as I do, I have, look, I'm shaking. I'm reading the book and I'm looking stuff up in the book. I'm enjoying the myth, but I'm finding so much of this comes into my primitive awareness. And like I said, it's divine timing, and there's a reason for me to work with what I have. This is what I have. So, because like with the Dion Fortune, I enjoy working about the Kabbalah, and I'm all into frequency. This is a deck I have that's actually by a man. Isn't that funny? We can just start with a little deceiving there, maybe. The Seven of Swords. This is the Sevenfold. And this talks about Sophia. How come I'm not ready for any of this? I apologize. Well, not really. Because I'm doing it. This is Hermetic deck. This is about will and appetite over reason. And it's got some different takes on it. And this is based on, what, Plato? For the most part, that's Hermes. I'm going to say that would be my healer deck, but mostly it's my study deck. And though it's divine, I was calling it earlier, I was calling it my Pope deck. This is what he's going to give me in this life of the tangible rules of the mundane life that I'm to follow. But he has some differences in the regular Rider-Waite. And I'm going to say this, and I think it's in the Marielle, or one of them I'm really enjoying because I really work hard with this card. He's got the cup. Even though they have the wings and the caduceus, there's two cups, he's got the cup. And the Rider-Waite cup, I swear, he's taken the cup away from her. So there shows you some of where my blockages may be. But it's a very pretty deck, and it's not a new deck, and I'm sure people are... Here is the Hermit. He's on the checkerboard. He's got the 3 levels. So, and I live on an island, and I'm a Pisces. So there's the mermaid raising up the moon to meet the sun. What is that? Here's Gamos. See, I don't even have my words right. I'm not articulate. I spent years, I had a very high vocabulary. I spent years speaking basically with nobody. I mean, I just didn't even speak. And now that I'm retired, got fired, thank goodness, but I created it. That J.J. Swiss deck told me that was going to be my last day. I just had to be pushed out. So I'm going to do an honorable mention, because Cash always does that. When I was going through my decks, when I decided to do this, I used to have the Arthurian deck that is the most common. In fact, one of the people that's responded to this is using that deck. And somehow I have this Scarabaro. I'm not so familiar with all the words. And it is an Avalon Tarot. And I've always been so fascinated by anything of the Merlins. And actually, that is part of my tribe, is the Merlins. But anyway, I'm not going to show this too much because I've gotten it out, but I haven't worked with it. And it's like, I traded my other deck, traded it for an Indian woman deck. And after being out there so long, I'm just not so attached to some of the Indian shaman stuff that is out on mass market. But where in the hell did this deck even come from? When did I get it? And it's funny because I've been kind of worrying about, oh, that King Arthur deck I got rid of. I was so sad. I was upset. Could I find it again? Well, I found it. And then in this box, buried in there, have an Arthurian Tarot. So I don't know how long, let's see, 18 minutes. What did I have to say? I'm working with what I have because there's a reason. That's the divine timing of it all. That was my honorable mention. I want to tell you, Natalia, I gave away my Thoth deck just recently, though I do have some Crowley books. And I actually have a really big Crowley book recommended by a friend. We are lucky we do have a metaphysical bookstore here, but it's pretty much Llewellyn 101, unless you get into some of his own stuff. Anyway, I have a really good book on it. And since I've been working with the J.J. Swiss, Marseille, and the Dean Fortune, I am ready to go back to the Thoth deck and see how that works. I have many on my wish list. Deviant Moon is like one of them. Do I go with the Green Witch? Everybody thinks that I should because they think I'm a witch when I'm really just, I am. So, I really don't have a wish list. I've got a couple of oracles coming, but this is my whole counsel, and at this time, this is the counsel I have, my counsel to keep. So I thank you, everybody who responded, and I thank you for giving me this opportunity. It was so good for my throat, sacral, heart, base, all my chakras. May the goddess bless. Many blessings. Love and light. I'm going to continue on. I have things to do. I will add my oracle one next.